I want to share with you what I think is really happening with the BPT, MLF, and what's really going down here. A lot of people are going to talk about, is this fair for the 30 anglers? This is a move in the wrong direction. All that, some of that's very true. Luke Duncan did a great video on kind of walking through all the steps of what happened through this last 4 or 5 years with the BPT and MLF and the split and how it all went. But I see this as kind of like big business. Like I've worked in corporations for a long time, been part of fishing, and have a lot of experience here. And this really comes down to profit and loss statements, I believe. So BPT split off, MLF was formed, and they had investors. Stan Kroenke, Kroenke Sports, other bigwig investors. And it's pretty typical in that situation for them to have a business plan, that same business plan that they told the anglers about how they were going to grow the sport, they were going to get new eyeballs, new audiences, bring in all these non-endemic sponsors, have all this TV coverage. And there was a big plan laid out. Everybody was going to make money. The anglers, the organization, the investors. So that plan was both laid out to the anglers and the investors and the people that own MLF. And those investors likely invested, put up the money. They had the big year. They bought all those TV spots. They were, bragging about how big they were, how awesome they were. They were paying the anglers. There were no entry fees. They bought FLW. Everything was looking rosy. They were out to beat bass. They were out to crush them, make them go away. That might have been their biggest mistake. I think they lost maybe a little bit of their vision and got too focused on their competitor. So then a couple years in, all of a sudden, I don't think they were meeting the expectations and goals and, the milestones of what that business plan was from a profit and loss. I don't think they were getting as many sponsors as they thought. I don't think they were getting as many viewers and new viewers as they thought. So those people like Kroenke Sports and those other smart businessmen that are millionaires and billionaires didn't get that way by being donators or running bad businesses. So then we start to see things where all of a sudden BPT starts to pay entry fees. MLF Pro Circuit restructured the invitationals. These are some of the big things. There's a lot of other things. They cut the MLF full-time refs to be more volunteer, right? These are all things that from the outside, at least from my perspective, look like moves to make things more profitable, reduce overhead, try to get into the black. So these investors, when they didn't meet those expectations, I'm sure, I think everybody's like pointing to Boyd Duckett and Gary Klein and the owners of the BPT, but this is probably a top-down directive is like, hey, if you guys don't fix this and make this profitable, it's not going to happen. And we're not giving you more money to keep funding this. This is not a donation. So from me, my perspective, this is just a natural, this happens in business all the time. You've got private equity, you've got startups, they have like a certain grace period. And after that, then they're going to drive profitability and they want you to meet those metrics and goals. So I think that's merely what this is. People like Stan Kroenke didn't become multi-billionaires by running bad businesses and making bad decisions. So to me, these are just basic reorganization strategies and changes to the tournaments to make them profitable. Now, it doesn't look good for the sport or for BPT or MLF, and long term, is it good or not? But they're trying to spin it in a way that it's good for the anglers and all that, whether that's true or not. But to me, this is all just a move to get back to profitability, and really that's on the surface how I see it. If you want to see another video where I talked about what I thought of the change to 5 fish, check this video on the screen right here.